I'm still getting this figured out, and I still get nervous when I go to broadcast. Does anybody else feel that way? Okay, so this is the earliest, I think, in the day that I've ever broadcasted. Hey guys, I just came over from my friend Alicia's scope. She does really, really great scopes, and I think most of you guys were probably over there. Alicia Grace is her name. Hey Savannah, hey Janai, hey guys. Everybody, thanks for coming in. First of all, I should probably say that I'm not pregnant. That was probably a misleading title, I realize. I'm sorry. Hi guys. Hi Sadie, hi. So fun to see everybody. So I just wanted to put a thought out there really quick. I'm actually at the post office. I got out without any of the kids really quick just to go do a couple things, and I check in the P.O. box. Hey Keely. So I'll try to read your comments. Thanks everyone for joining in and for being here. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you guys. So welcome. But I wanted to have a chat really quick, and this is probably a controversial sort of topic. And maybe some of you have an idea of what I'm talking about, but I felt like it was an important thing to say. Yeah, there's no kids. It's just really fast. I was like, I promise I'll be home. I didn't tell him I was going to scope. I didn't know I was going to until I watched Alicia's. She talked about making friends as an adult. So go follow her and watch her replay. That was a really fun topic. Just don't pay attention to my comments because I get goofy and silly on scope and I start acting like an idiot. Maybe somebody can. It's Alicia with a Y, A-L-Y, and then Grace, Grayce. Anyway, so let's get going. What I wanted to talk about is the fact that tomorrow is April Fool's Day, and I want to discourage anybody who is thinking about announcing that they're pregnant tomorrow, because here's the thing. Last year, this happened on April Fool's Day, and it's been happening like this. Thank you. It's been happening for years. That's kind of like the classic. Yes, feel free to announce it if it's real. So last year was the first time that I saw. Yes, Kaylee. Last year was the first time that I saw not like people lashing out, but people that were getting offended and expressing that for the first time. And so, and I was kind of taken aback. I wasn't like, what's the matter with you? I totally, I think everybody's entitled to an opinion, but until I really thought about it, I was like, oh, people need to calm down. It's April Fool's. And so I didn't think it was a big deal. Even though I'm somebody who has had my own miscarriages in the past, they've never happened around that time. I don't get on Facebook that much. I don't see, I don't see a lot of that on April Fool's Day. So that's never really bothered me so much until I realized recently the fact that you can't ever, I feel like I'm all over the place, but you can't be too careful when it comes to people's feelings, things that are really important to them. And so if you want to, if you want to play, I guess the point is, I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like my point is that there are two sides to every coin. And there were a couple things that happened last year as well that made me that I wanted to bring up too. So along with the pregnancy thing, then the 4th of July came, and everybody was getting irritated because people were telling them to not light off fireworks on the 4th of July because of the veterans that might have what is the word? PTSD? Yes. Okay. So PTSD. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So they were saying don't light off fireworks because of soldiers and veterans that maybe are dealing with a lot of that. And so and that I was like, well, that's really hard though. So now we all can't light off fireworks because we have to be careful of this, and we can't talk about, but making a joke about pregnancy might seem really, really like a simple thing, but then, but to the same person, you guys help me out a little bit. Do you understand like where my mind is at? I feel like you can't be too careful, but it has to come from both sides. So if you are somebody that's been through a really hard thing, like a miscarriage or a baby loss or any sort of fertility issues, that can be really hard to see these kinds of exclamations of joy and happiness for something that is really, really raw in your life. And somebody compared it once to cancer, if somebody was, I mean, but that's a really traumatic thing versus like a happy thing you're announcing. So I understand the difference. I don't know. Yes, it's not something to take casually. So maybe if you have had those struggles, stay away from social media, because that will still happen. Because people have, we're talking about April Fool's jokes about pregnancy mostly. That's what I just wanted to say, and I'm not telling anybody what they have to do, but I just thought maybe consider it, because last year when it happened on April Fool's Day, some people came back and were like, just kidding, and they got in big trouble. And I didn't think it was quite fair how much they were attacked, because it was just a lighthearted joke in their mind, and they didn't really understand. And I was like, everybody, look, let's all be friends. Let's calm down. It isn't funny. But I think you have to really think about it. It took me a little while before I was like, that would be really, really hard. And to make things, more personal from my own perspective, I feel like I talk about this too much, but after, you resent when you're in a dark time in your life, you can't help but take other people's happiness personally, and you can't help but kind of be angry at everybody. Like, what are you happy about? Like, why you get to be happy and I don't? And so, yes. So I just wanted to have people maybe do a little bit of research, if they were thinking it was, for people that don't understand why it might be personal or not a joke or not funny, and they maybe have never thought about that before, and maybe they've never seen people be upset about it, and that's okay. Everybody's Facebook feeds are different, but I saw a lot of fights last year. There are people on both sides saying everybody needs to just take a chill pill, like it's just a joke. Everybody should expect this on April Fool's Day, and those people that were saying that there's a lot of April Fool's Day jokes out there. So let's just get rid of the ones that maybe are more sensitive. At the same time, I guess you can't be too careful. You never know what's gonna offend somebody. Because people are really easy to offend these days. Let's be honest. So I don't know. Sorry for being all over the place. There was one more thing too that happened. This is kind of on the same topic, I guess, and is kind of defending the other side a little bit. That's why I was thinking like a discussion, because I wanted to know your thoughts, but at the same time, I'm not very good at reading the comments. Thanks, Kara. So I was also reading an article once where a public figure of sorts was talking about her pregnancy and how she had such a hard time. That's really bad karma. Oh, that's sad. That's really, really sad. I shouldn't call it karma. That's mean. Anyways, so she was talking about how she had such a hard time with her pregnancy. And it was a blog post about that, like why she was scared to be pregnant, why she had a hard time with it. Thank you. And people got mad at her for saying like she was throwing up a lot. She was really, really sick. She was in and out of the hospital. And I totally related, because my first pregnancy was horrible. And I loved my children, and I got pregnant immediately afterwards by choice, and I had a lot more babies, and so for me it was worth it, but it was hard. And I think that I don't think that people got mad at her and were like, you're so ungrateful, like there are people everywhere that would love to be pregnant, how dare you complain, sort of a thing. So do you see, like, from the other side of the spectrum, how this is kind of unrelated to the April Fool's thing, but it's just something, how I guess my point is that you can never be too careful, and that we as the people that are offended need to know our triggers and avoid them if possible, and then not lash out when it was a blog post you chose to read, or if you know that you're sensitive, it's really, really hard to not offend people no matter what you do. So us as the people that might possibly be offended, again, I never get on and fight on the computer. I don't think that that's productive at all. I really try to not respond to any of that. And I never try to, like, even when I have a strong opinion, I don't ever try to voice it on those forums or those comment threads. I like to read the comments sometimes because it's exciting, let's be honest. But, we love a good debate, but some people get really, really invested, and I don't think it's healthy. I'm always all over the place. So as a person who never thought of it as being an offensive thing, look up maybe some articles and stuff. There are people that that have expressed before a lot of pain around that sort of day, and maybe just think a little bit more about what you put out there as a joke, because it's not something to be taken lighthearted. Kaylin, thank you for joining. I was thinking about your story related to this. So we're talking about, I don't want to, okay. So it's not a joke, infertility issues. So just think about that. And then as a person who struggles with a hard thing, try to avoid, know your triggers and avoid those places as much as possible. That's kind of probably all. I need to go through. Yeah, it's best to avoid the comments. I need to go back through and read all the good things you guys have been saying. I haven't seen any questions or anything like that. I haven't been reading very well. But like for me, where it's been almost a year now since Martin, and we don't see as hopeful as we might be, people saying like, oh, this too shall pass and stuff like that isn't really much comfort, because our future is still uncertain. And so I don't feel like I can move past this. I feel like it's something that I just have to live with. Thank you so much. And we all have issues, and even if it's something that happened in the past that is completely done, maybe it's something we were young, if it's altered you, you're still in it. Yes. And, but I have learned that I can't listen to the same music I used to listen to. I used to love kind of indie music. I can't listen to Damien Rice anymore. My favorites, they just make me sad. And I can't watch romance movies anymore because they make me sad. And I can't even look through old pictures of my children because it makes me really sad. And so when you get in those areas and you go through those different steps of your day and you find people and articles or, maybe certain blogs or certain books you read or things that you realize make you sad, like going on Facebook is not a good idea. So, anyways, that's all. That's all I wanted to say. I feel bad about bringing that up so much, but it kind of defines me right now. So, is there any thoughts you guys have about that? I didn't really make any sort of concrete, you're sweet. Thanks, Kara. Thank you guys. Do you guys feel do you have any thoughts about that? I feel again, the 4th of July thing is hard because we as a people deserve to have our holiday and our traditions. And if unless there was an arrow above every veteran's house, I would never be able to have any fireworks for my kids. That's hard. But I don't want to cause anybody trauma, so you can't be too careful. Thanks. Yeah, so it's really hard. You can't be too careful, but then at the same time, we all are entitled to our life, and so I think it takes effort on both parts to try and be a little bit extra careful. The pregnancy stuff, it has made me more sensitive, the pregnancy in related to Martin. Like I said, April Fool's last year is when the first time I really saw fights break out on Facebook and was like, whoa, we've always seen jokes about pregnancy. What's the big deal? So in the last year, since everything has happened, because we found out actually right before his birthday, which is on April 20th. So we're rounding up on a year since we found out he was diagnosed. And so in that time, yes, because right after we found out, I got on Facebook and I was angry at everybody. And people were, just showing off clothes they bought or, food they were eating, just simple stuff. And I was really mad at everybody for being so happy. I'm sorry. Because I was just angry at everything. Sorry, this wasn't fun. Sorry. Anyways, but it wasn't their fault, so it's my responsibility to protect myself in that instance. So I try to. Sorry. So we both have to be careful. I've rehashed that too much. I'm reading some of the comments too. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's one of there's not 5 stages of grief. There's 100, and they never stop cycling for some people, for most people. I missed your comment, Keelan. Yeah, some people I have some friends who, I mean, I see so many different circumstances on face. There's 100. So I feel like I have so many different friends. I've seen so many different circumstances where they've worked for years and still have never. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I've had my kids back to back. I have some Irish twins in there. Isn't that what they're called when they're 13 months apart? We were just talking about this. Thank you. But I did have a couple miscarriages. They were mostly early on, and so. But that's never an easy thing to feel kind of betrayed by your body, and there's so many different emotions that go with that, and I think it's very, very common too. I think either we all have either gone through it or we know people that have, and so give me some hearts if miscarriage is part of your life, because it is that way for everybody. I know that it's a really common thing, but it's and everybody has different belief systems about when children happen, but in my mind, it's far from before where I can feel them. It's as soon as that test is positive and you know that there's a little spirit in you. This is probably too early to be talking about this heavy stuff. Anyway, so but it's a really, really sensitive thing. How many women are on the planet? So if all of us have experienced issues with you've had I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but I've had 2 siblings that passed away, and I actually never knew them. It was before I was born. I'm towards the end of my family, but I had a little sister older sister, and again, I never knew her because she drowned, and she was 3. And maybe this isn't my place to talk about this. This was not supposed to be a heavy scope, but she was 3 years old, and my parents lost her, and I had a brother who only lived for about a week and a half, and so there's so many different sides to even mothers who feel so emotionally invested in their children, which we all do. Let's face it. Like you go to heaven and back, and then hell and back to have your children, whether it's through adoption or through birth or through fertility treatments, or if you're still struggling and still working. It's just too sensitive. It's not a joke, and I guess that's kind of so just think about that, and hopefully we'll see less argument, because it's everybody deserves to do what they want, and where this is a free country, but there's a lot of other things to joke about and to post about on April Fool's Day. So okay, I didn't mean this to be a sad scope. We need to talk about happier things. But I guess if I get on here and tell you guys what I think you should do, and they all relate to us in good. I'm glad. And my hair looks so messy in this light. So tomorrow on April Fool's Day, but if you see people, don't get mad at them either. Don't, because again, I don't think a lot of people think about it, because I certainly hadn't, even though I've been through my own hard things. Last year April Fool's Day, I was really surprised at the conflict. So thank you. Thank you guys. Yeah, pranks is what April Fool's Day should be about. So, and it's kind of a letdown. Like why? Like, how does that benefit you? Like when the whole lottery thing happened, was everybody kind of like watching to see what was going on? I don't really buy. Is it Powerball? I don't even know which one it was. But yeah, tomorrow it's April. I can't believe it. My wedding anniversary is coming up, and Martin's birthday and Sophie's birthday. So yeah, when the Powerball stuff come up and everybody was joking about icy hot on the toilet seat, everyone was joking about winning, and they were like, guys, I got a ticket, I won. And then everybody, like, they might have got a bunch of followers or whatever, but like, didn't that just make everybody angry at them and like disappointed in them? And do you think that really helped anybody besides like maybe getting some followers or maybe tricking some people out of a few dollars? Like, but for good, honest people that were trying to just make a joke, that probably really hurt them. And so it's just stuff like that isn't funny. You love baby? That doesn't make any sense. We're talking about babies, kind of. I'm actually happy we haven't had more creepers on here since all the new followers came in. Thank you guys for joining. I should probably end this. I never, thank you. That's very nice of you to say, I guess, in a weird sort of twisted way. See ya. Yeah, there's like not anybody on here. Come on in. Yeah. Okay, I never end these right. I was just supposed to swipe down and end it, but I know I totally just should just zip my lip next time. Okay, I also need to hear the story about, that was disturbing. I need to hear the story about how Todd's came to be, because I might call myself a scope sister, but I really don't feel like one because I don't know where the whole Todd thing happened. So I'm really out of the loop. So somebody tell me, maybe in our Amy Twitty. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Who came up with it? You guys are you're just starting trends. Okay, I better end this though. Thank you guys for letting me kind of talk about that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Again, I'm not that sorry, but I do like to be more lighthearted and not make things heavy all the time. Oh, Todd. Funny. I would so love to come. I'm not to the point where I can leave my kiddos in Martin yet. I wish I could, but I can't. I won't be there. Hopefully, let's see, this is every other day. I published 2 days ago, so maybe we can do more. I just feel like we're getting to hang out, and I feel like it's fun. So, thanks you guys for joining, and I appreciate it. And thanks for all the comments and hearts and everything like that. And go follow Alicia again, because she inspired my scope to come on here. Although I was thinking about that yesterday, because I've had a few people that are genuinely pregnant, new in my life, and I'm really excited for them. And we found that about the last couple days, and I'm like, it's a good thing they didn't wait till April Fool's Day. And then I was like, oh man, that's going to be like a bloodbath this year. And I'm like, maybe I should. It's not quite worth the blog post, but maybe I should get on here and just pass that on. So, okay, thank you guys so much for joining, and have a good rest of your day.